Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Certainly feels quite different in this room this morning. I think if I focus on my senses, I can still hear nuclear playing and taste Jameson whiskey. But thank you very much for having us here at GoaFest. I'm so excited to be here. As someone who's worked their entire career in the creative industry and now is the head of Create with Google, I'm really excited to be part of Google's mission to sort of embrace the power of the creative idea and build meaningful relationships with those responsible for creativity here in India and across APAC. So again, thank you very much for having us. Never has the sort of importance of creativity been so strong for building meaningful connections between brands and consumers. And this is something that we've returned to throughout our careers, and certainly throughout my career. I can remember working at Saatchi & Saatchi in Sydney, and I was running the OPSM business, which is a big Luxottica brand, big optometry brand. And they asked me to drive more family eye test bookings for the brand. You know, and as an agency, we came up with an ambitious idea. We wanted to create a children's storybook, which would allow parents to screen their kids' vision and understand whether or not anyone in their family required glasses, right? And as an agency, we had to become optometry experts. I had to travel all across Australia, attending these screenings, and to understand what elements are needed to conduct a legitimate eye screening. And the news wasn't great. You know, parents would have to put a corrective lens over their child's eye. The children would have to wear a pair of special colored glasses to understand if they had difficulty seeing in color. And it felt impossible to make sense of all this complexity in our execution. But what if the screening became a pirate adventure? What if that lens was tucked away into a telescope? And what if the color test was a search for a hidden treasure chest? What if the story designed for parents to screen their kids caused them to screen their own vision? So Penny the Pirate went on to win the Innovation Lion at Cannes that year, and in 2015, it was listed as the world's most effective advertising campaign by the Warwick 100. But that's not my point. My point is that creativity has an uncanny ability to transform and make sense of complexity. And this is something we've returned to time and time again as we've gone on the journey to create with Google and how we work with the creative industry. And while it's easy to get caught up in the discussion that the creative industry is facing its most challenging moments in history, or that what we're being asked to do by our clients is becoming far too complex, I truly believe we have never seen a more amazing time to be in the business of creating ideas. Technology, multimedia platforms, and all the advancements that we are seeing should be seen as tools to take creativity to new heights and in all new directions. So today, and if you think about these opportunities, right, they take bravery. We need creatives who are willing to march into the unknown and lead the charge. So today I want to share some work that I think is really celebrating these people that are marching into the unknown. And at the core of all these examples are creative agencies who have really taken from Google's creative canvas and used these things to redefine storytelling. So there's going to be sort of four themes. And the first is, you know, the best way to communicate now between brands and their consumers, it doesn't have to look like advertising. We were once limited to how long an ad was and where it would run. And it was basically anyone watching or physically exposed to it would see it. That's it. But now we're no longer limited by length or time or location or even the fact that what we are communicating is a message. We can create new products, new experiences. And all of these things can solve brand challenges, right? Recently, BBDO, or Colenso BBDO in New Zealand was briefed by their client Spark to showcase the brand's commitment to revitalize the Maori language. So this is a native language in New Zealand. And instead of making an ad talking about their commitment to revitalizing the language, they created kupu.
Kia ora. These little things have changed the world.
Cool. So this is not an ad, right? This is a movement on behalf of a nation, and we were really, really proud to help execute this idea, and we're really excited to see this year how it does it can. On a lighter note, who's seen this campaign? It was done by Droga 5 for Tourism Australia in New York, and leveraging an incredible cast of characters and a really, really strong idea, they built global demand for a film that was actually never even created. and on IMDb, which is pretty amazing. But this was also the most watched, searched, and shared Super Bowl ad of 2018. It went on to rack up millions and millions and millions of views on YouTube, having a huge brand impact well after the game was finished. And even the things that we once thought to be quite boring or basic have become some of the most important things for brand expression. So these 3 airline safety videos behind me for British Airways, Turkish Airways, and Air New Zealand have combined over 50 million views on YouTube. And whilst on board, they are still communicating the necessary safety instructions. Online, they're building brand affinity and edging these brands ahead of their competition. All of this stuff is unique to advertising, I suppose. They're not your traditional ads, but these are well in the wheelhouse of the modern creative agency. Really exciting. So our second theme, where stories come to life like we could never have imagined before. So you've just got my slides a bit backwards here. We've been working with Clemenger BBDO Melbourne for a while now, but I can still remember the very first time they shared a sketch of their Meet Graham campaign. Graham is a sculpture designed to look like a human being if we were designed to survive a car crash at 50 kilometers an hour. It's an incredibly confronting idea, very powerful, but they had a problem. This amazing sculpture and the artist that created it, she didn't want to put anything digital into the sculpture itself. And it meant that no one could take away that data that makes Graham look the way he does. So they came to us with this problem. They asked if we could help. And it led to the first use case of Google's AR technology in Asia Pacific. Let's have a look.
Part interactive sculpture.
So it would be tough to imagine the creation of Graham without this advancements in AR technology. So again, really proud to have been part of that campaign. Sorry, guys. Cool. It went on to win a Cyber Grand Prix at Cannes. And I think, for me, Graham's a really good use case of that balance of technology and also how they took the story to market through YouTube. Really, really interesting. Also very interesting is this campaign we've seen recently done by Tinkerbell for Our Watch. This is a brand dedicated to ending violence against women and their children. And leveraging YouTube's sequential ad serving technology, they created a campaign that caused action. So the first ad in the sequence featured a character behaving inappropriately, and they asked users to take action.
Did I tell you what's happening at work? No. They're hiring a new CEO.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really great campaign, super awesome. But if you didn't take action, you were served further ads in the sequence, right? And the character's behavior got even worse, replicating exactly what happens in the real world when these behaviors go unchecked.
Hey, who's up for the game tomorrow?
Action, we're thanked for doing so, and no longer exposed to the kind of behavior that this campaign had inside it. And I think for me, this is one of the most exciting and untapped technologies that YouTube has that really hasn't been played with too much by the creative industry. So we're looking forward to so many more great examples coming down the pipeline soon. So finally, theme 3, what you say can be useful. This seems quite obvious. But I think sometimes when we take brand communications and mix technology, we can create campaigns that are actually quite useful and meaningful for our users. Myer is a major retailer based in Australia, and they were briefing their agency to come up with the latest sale campaign. And obviously, as creatives will know, this is not the sexiest brief to receive to do a new sale campaign. But leveraging YouTube's 6-second ad format, our dynamic video offering, and a clickable call to action, they created an award-winning campaign called the Myer 6-Second Sale. Basically, Myer offered up hundreds of products in their sale and gave them a heavier discount, making them exclusive to YouTube as a deal. Using our dynamic video offering, we created a single 6-second ad for each of those products and made sure that when we put them to market, users only ever saw the products one time, and they were clickable. So you had 6 seconds to take us up on the offer. And of course, using our targeting capabilities, users only saw ads that were relevant to them. So for myself, I shouldn't see things about kids and family because I don't have one, but I will see things about technology and cooking because that's stuff I love. So the sale is more relevant to everyone who saw it. And we kicked that off first by letting everyone know that the sale was on.
For the first time, Myer will partner with YouTube. Users able to purchase heavily discounted items, but you need to do so in just 6 seconds.
Be quick to click before they disappear. in 3, 2, 1.
So these powerful 6-second ads drove more than $800,000 to cart in 2 weeks, just from this campaign alone. Really, really interesting. They're more relevant, more interesting, and overall more impactful for the brand. And finally, theme 4. This marks a huge shift in our industry. I think for a long time, brands have been avoiding the disruption of the status quo, but recently we've seen brands really taking a stance and kind of showing that the values of the brand are just as important as the products that they sell. And they've seen this with incredible success. And the first campaign I'd like to point out is the Nike campaign, obviously, this year. And this is a huge campaign, obviously, but I think it's one of the best written campaigns of the year. And ultimately, Colin Kaepernick made a really big stand. He took a knee against racism, and he took a huge copping for that. And I think people that saw Nike supporting him thought they were crazy, but Nike has seen incredible success with this campaign. And they've also championed further people. Who else has crazy dreams? Let's dream as crazy as we can and not stop people from dreaming. And I think those who are core to Nike now have a stronger affinity to this brand than ever before. And we've seen other brands go on this journey as well. Gillette, these guys have been leveraging the male persona for years, and this year they called for men to do better for the first time. Really, really interesting. And here in India, Ola, just recently, I saw, did a campaign, putting toilets out to the masses, and affecting 20,000 Indians by doing a crowdsourcing campaign off the back of an April Fool's video they did on YouTube. Really interesting. As you can see, all the examples that I've shared today really leverage the magic that technology brings to storytelling. And it's featuring those agencies that are leading us into the unknown and charging forward. And I think that Google offers an incredibly sympathetic creative platform, and I really hope that you guys take us up on our offerings. Ultimately, my job as the head of Create with Google is to make sure that I share with you guys all of Google's capabilities. But that is so that you can show us what are the possibilities. You guys are the creative people that make all of that happen, and we need you to work with us to get there. And to help do that, we have launched Create with Google this week in India. We launched at Brandcast just on Tuesday, and we're so excited to talk quickly about it with you guys here today. Basically, my team is a bunch of creative advocates that work inside of Google, and we do so underneath a creative lens. We make sure that we look at all of Google's offerings and make sense of that for the creative industry, and make sure that your voices are represented inside of Google. And we're here for the makers, for you guys, those who are experts at craft and storytelling, those who prioritize ideas above all, and ultimately those who create the things that we remember, the campaigns that we talk about, and the things that we at Google can't produce ourselves. We help in 3 ways. We help distill that confusing information inside of Google and make sure it's relevant for you guys. We inspire you. We show you examples of others that have gone on that route and have created a best-in-class work leveraging our technology. And we encourage experimentation. We put some skin in the game to work with you guys to do that. You can check out the offering now. It's live here in India at createwithgoogle.com. I'm very excited that you guys can access it today. And on the site, you'll find examples, information, and loads of tools to help get you going. This includes things like our Inspiration Hub, hundreds of pieces of work, all operated under a filter to allow you to get your creative juices flowing. Creative downloads. So these are, one-pagers of that information distilled just to understand what you as the creative industry needs to know about TrueView or bumpers or dynamic video so that you can get moving and get everyone on the same page. And we've also got Pitch Partner. This is a YouTube mock-up tool that allows you to upload your very own video files and see exactly how your work will look as an ad on the platform. You can look at it on different devices and in different formats, and you can even download that file and include it in your presentations. It's not to say that there isn't already amazing work happening here in India. There is a load of it. But I hope that in partnership with Create with Google, we can take Indian creativity to a global scale this year and showcase it on YouTube. Thank you so much for having me here today, and I appreciate your time.